Other than the biblical version, we all know the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. Well, how does this apply to silver? That's what we're going to talk about in this video as we explore. And it's not going to apply at all in that regard. There is a golden rule for silver stacking, and I'm going to talk about that in this video because when you think about silver, you think about gold. They're often thought about together, and they often perform together, but there's a growing chasm between the two metals, hence why the gold to silver ratio has increased so much. And with gold and silver both doing very well here in 2025, it is no wonder that we are in a situation where we're looking at it in a much different light than we were 5-10 years ago. And this video is sponsored by Summit Metals. For all of your precious metal needs, check them out. See if they are right for you. Experience their great customer service when buying and selling. And if you do sell, mention my name to see if you can get a better price than what's listed on their website for the goods and services or the goods that you're looking to sell to them. Now, silver should be thought about a little differently than most other asset classes out there because it has a dual purpose. It is an industrial metal, and it is a metal that is used a lot in technology, photovoltaics, medical, all kinds of different ways silver is being used. In fact, it has over 10,000 use cases. So there's no shortages of things. In fact, now more so than ever before, we're seeing that diverse nature of silver play out dramatically, and it is affecting the price and the demand structure. So therefore, one could make a very cogent argument that it is an investment. But that is the golden rule we should think about silver stacking, is to not compare it as an investment. And even though you can make that case today more so than ever before, as it has outperformed the devaluing of the dollar, it has outperformed inflation right now as I record this video. So why should we not think of it as an investment? Because it has been money for thousands of years. It has been a store of wealth for thousands of years. Just like gold has been. In fact, gold is treasured. But there's still that aspect with silver, that monetary aspect of it as a store of wealth. And that's what I want to get you thinking about in this video, because we have been spoiled by great price increases over the past 6, 7, 8, and even months and even year. It's been quite exciting to see silver move in the way it has been. So the golden rule of silver stacking is to not think of it as an investment and to not think of it as something you're going to get ahead on. In other words, you should not stack it in order to profit. It is not about creating wealth. It is about preserving the wealth that you already have. I think that's paramount to understand, because when you look at it in that way, that means you're going to be a long-term holder through the ups and downs. And this is a period where it has been up. But a lot of people have been letting go of their silver. There is a glut of it at local coin shops and dealers out there. And even though I can understand the temptation to sell your stack at a profit, and I certainly don't begrudge anybody for doing that for a portion of their stack, I think a great majority of your stack should be held on to for the long course of time, because it's there not just to make money on. It is there as something to protect yourself against economic instability. And we are living in economically unstable times. That's one of the reasons why silver's price is up right now. So when you look at that, and you look at what's going on in the world today with the dollar, with more rounds of quantitative easing happening behind the scenes now, and there is a shortage of silver in other areas in the industry and behind the scenes in the COMEX and the LBMA. This is a critical time, I think, for silver. But remember, there are dips and there's times when silver's price does pull back. And when it does pull back, you're going to be hitting yourself thinking, why didn't I sell? Why didn't I sell when it was over $40 an ounce, you know? And I can understand that temptation to want to get rid of some of your stack to maybe cut the losses that you may have had stacking through the years. But remember, the golden rule of silver, looking at it as not as an investment, but rather as a hedge, and rather as a savings vehicle, rather as an insurance policy against the insanity that we find ourselves in today. Government keeps on spending, and no matter who's in office, no matter which party is in office, and there's compromise that happens in Congress, and therefore more spending happens. People want to get their due. There's a lot of different things going on out there, and that's having a dramatic impact on the dollar's value, which is a hidden tax on you. Inflation is a hidden tax. You protect yourself against that by holding gold and silver especially is still attainable for a lot of people. So that's why I'm encouraging you to hold on to it and think about silver in a different way. Yes, we've made money on silver this year. A lot of people have, especially if you've started stacking at the beginning of the year. There's a good times for silver stackers, no question about that. But through the good times and the bad times, if you think about silver as a store of value rather than a commodity that has gone up in price, you're in a much better position as a mature stacker to understand what it is there for. And that gives you a whole new perspective as to what it means to be a central bank of your own making with silver. Yes, indeed. We talk about gold being held by central banks and being your own central bank with gold, but you can do the same thing with silver too. It is the ultimate savings vehicle, and it must be protected with these. That's right. This is something that you hold on to for the long course of time, in my view, and you can use these to protect yourself so that if there's an emergency that comes up, if you have enough of these on your person or in the bank to be able to liquidate if you need to in an emergency, you can protect this, your stack. Because the last thing you want to do is sell at a loss. You do not want to do that. You should avoid that at all costs, if possible, and having these on hand helps protect that. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, why would I do that? Because I want to exchange these fiat currency notes as for hard, true, sound money rather than unsound money. So why wouldn't I liquidate all of my dollars for this? Well, the reason for that is because of the volatility of the market. If you have to sell at a loss, you're underwater. You do not want that. And that is really the bottom line here. And so the golden rule of silver stacking is to think about it beyond as an investment, even if it performs like one from time to time, and to think long term with regards to your silver stacking goals and needs. It's about balance in life and having some dollars on hand and recognizing silver for what it is as a tangible form of wealth that you hold in your hands. Well, it gives you a whole new perspective, and that perspective extends far beyond what the price of it is on any given day. Trades in silver are happening behind the scenes electronically. The derivatives market is active, and that is part of what is setting the price in the market. But that's, in a sense, really just exposure to the price. It is not the metal itself. When you hold the metal in your hand in physical form like this, nothing really beats it, because you have yourself something that is tangible. It is valuable for what it is. It's intrinsic. History is our guide for that. And there's nothing like that. That sends a powerful message to the bankers out there, and that when you participate in the system, when you have something that, yes, in a sense, you are punished by having to pay those premiums, and you may lose when you go to sell it back in certain markets, but nonetheless, that's a below spot price. But time is on your side when you're stacking silver. And remembering that and understanding that the long course of time is going to make you a more fiscally responsible, a more patient, a more persistent stacker, and mature in your holdings of your silver. You can make your silver work for you as an investment from time to time, but overall, looking at silver for what it is over the long course of time, I think is absolutely paramount. You can be agile with the silver market, and I think we should be from time to time, and some of that may involve selling. Some of it may involve strategic buying as well, and continuing to hold is the best absolute strategy through the course for a core of your stack. So I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.